Welcome to the Week 1 recording for Computer Fundamentals B. And the Week 1 recording is just to get you an idea of what the class is about. So it gets you off to a good start, gives you an opportunity for some real easy points. So for Week 1, we're not getting into the Computer Fundamentals content. We're just learning about how the course operates, navigation of the course, and things like that. So hopefully you'll be able to get off to a good start, get some easy points, and have a good grade as you start the work for Week 2. So here I am in the class. And of course, first thing I can do, I'll go in and look at Week 1, and you can see how I have it set up for you. What I'd recommend that Tuesday you could do these things, Thursday you could do these things this week. Of course, you can do them any way you want, but this just might help you schedule a little bit better. And I'll try to break out every week this way with Tuesday and Thursday, so then you can determine the best way that will work for you. The bottom line is just get everything turned in by Friday, then you won't have any problem. Now, as far as my classes, I have them set up so Monday is April 1st, the following Sunday is April 7th. So that's the week of the work. Ideally, you would turn the work in for this week by April 5th, which would be Friday. Then you won't have to worry about anything on Wednesday. So you can see that for this week, you're going to look at the course syllabus, look at the Getting Started information, watch the Getting Started video, complete what's called the Getting Started write-up. Then you're going to do a discussion entry. You're going to do a learning plan, and then you're going to look at other resource links in the course home area to learn more about how the course operates. And on this welcome to class, this just tells you it's really about the same stuff. So you'll watch the video, do the Getting Started write-up, check out the syllabus, all of those things. So pretty much the same information. Now I'll have assignment videos and screenshots of some of the work posted in here, so you can go and find out what your work should look like, find out how to do some of it. We'll also have an index of the lesson recordings, so all of the weekly lesson recordings will be posted right here, so you can easily find them there, but they're also posted in the units you'll see over here on the left. And then finally, here's a video on how to be successful in the class. It's 8 minutes. I suggest you watch it. You might learn a couple things from it and it might help you out as you move along in this class. So let's go ahead and take a look at the class. First, look at the course syllabus. And of course, the syllabus tells you all about the teacher, the class, and things like that. So as you see, Computer Fundamentals, you can learn a little bit about me. You can just call me Mr. H. That would be fine. My personal cell number here, my home phone. But the best way to contact me, and we'll learn about that a little bit later, is through the K-mail. But I do have students who might call my cell phone, and that'll be okay on occasion. Especially if we've already set up a phone call, then you can call me on my cell phone. But you can learn a little bit about me, kind of read through here. I've been like you. I've been an online student in a couple of different programs, and I used to be a regular classroom teacher. I taught business and social studies. Also, I was a track and basketball coach in high school. Course description. So in this course, you're going to look at the principles of personal computing, look at hardware, operating systems, different software applications, looking at key applications, part of Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And then finally, look at the social and ethical issues around the internet, or use of the internet. Now, of course, the thing about this is that if you don't have Microsoft Word, you can use OpenOffice. You see how I have that posted right here. You can use OpenOffice, but as long as you save the programs as Word documents, then it'll work out fine. I do not recommend using WordPerfect or Microsoft Works because they don't convert very well to Microsoft Office, which is what I use. And this says 2 semesters. Of course, this is Computer Fundamentals B. You probably already took Computer Fundamentals A. As we go through the course outline, you can see that there are about 6 units, and it starts at Unit 6 because Computer Fundamentals A stopped at Unit 5. So you can see the topics in Unit 6, and then Unit 7, you can kind of look at this. This gets into different documents and presentations and such, using Excel, electronic communications, computing systems. So we actually have Units 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then of course the semester exam at the end. Now, one thing that I offer in my class is what are called the Class Connect write-ups. And these are weekly questions that you answer And they're very easy. They're a part of your grade. They're like 20 or 30 points. And you answer the write-ups. You can find the answers to the write-ups as you watch the lesson recordings. And I'll show you the write-up for this Getting Started video shortly to show you how those write-ups work. But the thing about the write-ups, they're really easy points. And they not only give you easy points, but they also introduce you to the content for the week. And you'll see the steps right here. You go to the write-up assignment for the week, find the answers as you watch the lesson recording, and submit the work as text in the Dropbox, not as an attachment. And we'll learn about that a little bit later. So that's the syllabus. Getting started, just some same directions as I've shown you before. The 5 things to get you started for this week. The Getting Started write-up. Here are a bunch of questions that we're going to answer. And as you can see how these write-ups work, all of them work the same way. Copy and paste the items into word processor. So you'd highlight all of this, then right-click copy, paste it into a word processor. Now make sure it has all the numbers on it. Then you find the answers as you watch the lesson recording. Write the answers directly below each of the items that you've copied into the word processor. Check your spelling and your grammar. Then once you have that done in the word processor, then you copy and paste the work, the questions and the answers, put them as text in the Dropbox. So then you'll go up to the Dropbox, you'll find the proper assignment, and you paste them in the Dropbox. You do not attach a file. If you attach a file, I'll give you very minimum credit and tell you to do it again. So please just follow the directions. It's very simple to do. It's just copying and pasting. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through these items over here, then we'll come back to answer all these questions. Introduce yourself discussion. You're going to have to do that. The introduce yourself discussion, you can see that there are 6 questions. And you'll provide discussion entry addressing these items. Feel free to reply to classmates. Keep it language and topic appropriate for school. And to do your response, you go down here and you hit the word, or actually you go right here and you hit the word respond. And that's to create your own. So you'd hit the word respond, and you'd have this line, you put right here, this is Joe Smart, and then you put your answers for Joe Smart if you were Joe Smart. So when you do this, so there's the respond for you to answer these 6 questions. Now if you want to look at what I've written, then you can click down here, the plus sign, where it says this is Mr. Harrison. So you can read some of the things that I've written. And then you click respond below mine and you respond to me. So to make your own entry, you hit respond right below the items. To respond to a classmate or to me, then you hit respond below that person's entry. So do these correctly and you'll see that on my responses, you see that I used complete sentences, didn't I? So please use complete sentences. Don't just write your name and then your town and things like that. Make it legible, use complete sentences. All right, so that's introduce yourself. Learning plan. The learning plan activity is 5% of your grade, and this course is worth 1,000 points. So learning plan is worth 50 points. That's 5% of your grade, very easy points. And for the learning plan, there are really no right or wrong answers. You're going to be graded on the completeness of your answers. And I would just learn a little bit about you, so that's why I'm asking you to do this. So for this assignment, what it says, copy and paste everything in a word processor. So what you do is you'd highlight all of this, then right-click copy, paste into a word processor file. Then for some of them, like number 1, number 2, number 3, just delete the ones that are not yours. So if I have all this in a word processor and I'm going to work slower than schedule, then I would go into word processor and I would just delete these 2 lines right here. Then that leaves my answer in there. For number 2, if I'm going to do 7 or more hours a week, then I would just delete these answers. Now when I get down to, and I want specific answers. I don't want you to put in, oh, I might work slower, but sometimes I'll work faster. Just give me one of the answers, please. Same with the hours. And then when you get down to what grade you want, just choose one of the answers there. Finally, number 4, explain what you do to make sure you earn the grade you want. 3 or 4 specific things. Don't put, I will go to class, or I will turn on my computer. That doesn't mean a thing to me. A couple of specific things are, I will make out a work schedule each week. That's a specific thing that can help you be successful. Another specific thing is, I will turn in work by the due date. That is a specific thing. So I want 3 or 4 specific things that you will do. Okay, week number 5, the weekly class connects. You just take out whichever answer is not your answer. Number 6, what are some things you will do if you do not understand an assignment? So if you're coming to the class and you look at an assignment and you don't understand it, what options do you have? Well, we have some lessons that are recorded, don't we? Do you have maybe a parent or somebody that might know something about this? Could you ask them? Could you ask somebody to read the directions to you? Could you go back and reread the directions? Could you go into the announcement I have that says lesson samples and look at the lesson samples? So right there, I just rattled off 4 or 5 things that you could do if you don't understand an assignment. Finally, number 7 down here, of course, this is going to be individual. What background knowledge, skills, or interests do you have that will help you succeed in the class? So it's really easy to answer these. Again, worth 50 points. And once you answer these in your word processor, you are to save the file, this exact name, my web design, or actually computer fundamentals. I'll change that right now. This is going to be called computer fundamentals. So computer fundamentals, my learning plan. So that's going to be the exact name. You'll save the word processor file that you create. This is the exact name you'll save it as. If you do not use that exact name, I'm going to take 10 points off, because in this class, working with word processing files and computer files, the names are extremely important. And this one you're going to make as an attached file in the Dropbox. So if you remember, the write-ups are not attached, it's just text in the Dropbox. This learning plan is going to be attached in the Dropbox. So that'll give you practice using the attachments. But the important thing is you use the exact file name or you're going to get points off. It's as simple as that. Can't be any more clear on the directions. All right, Class Connect. So let's take a look at this. So I talked about Class Connect write-ups, but the Class Connects, I call anything that the teachers record or that they're online with you, that's called a Class Connect. I use mine a little bit differently. A lot of teachers have their Class Connect sessions, like on Mondays for an hour or Tuesdays for an hour, whatever it is, and they're in there going over the lesson with you. Well, I prefer not to do that. I record the lessons ahead of time, then you have the chance to go over the lesson, the recording, and then I use the Class Connect write-ups to answer questions you might have or to help you get the work done. So you're going to be expected to watch the lesson recordings ahead of time, then come to the Class Connects either to answer questions or to get work done. Now sometimes students come to the Class Connects and they say, I'm doing fine, no questions, and they just stay signed in and they can get work done. Other students ask for help. So however you want to do that. And you can see how I'll set an error in this one. A web design class, that should be computer fundamentals. Obviously you can see that I copied this from another course. What I expect is you come into that Class Connect, whether you have questions or not, and stay signed in, but get work done. You can see that this Class Connect is on Mondays from 1:30 to 2:30. And then this talks again about how the Class Connects work. So I have the lessons recorded ahead of time for that week, and then the Class Connects are where you can come in and get help if you need it. Okay, our course schedule, I'll have it posted over here in the doc sharing area eventually. I don't have it finalized yet. Grading information, take a look at this. There'll be 1,000 points in the class, so here's how it's broken down. Pretty easy to figure out what your percentage is, right, at any given time. All you have to do is move the decimal place one one to the left. So if you have 595 points, take the decimal from right next to the 5 and move it between the 9 and the 5, and that means you have 59.5 point, or 59.5%. On the summary, the breakdown of the assignments, this is going to change a little bit, but this gives you an idea of some of the work that you'll be doing. Communications. Communication is really important online, isn't it? Because we don't get to see each other face to face. So in communications, the best way to find out about the class is through the announcements. Announcements, I list things, the weekly work announcements I list, and any other things that concern the class. And in the announcements, I'll address class-wide issues. Now, Kmail, another way to connect. That's the best way to get in touch with me. I check it all the time, but when you send a Kmail, please do this. In the subject line of the Kmail, type the name of the course and the topic of your email. And of course, I see the error on this again. So, computer fundamental. So I fixed that. So getting back to this. So if you're going to send me an email about not knowing about a certain assignment, you'd put computer fundamentals and then the topic. So here's an example. Computer fundamentals, can I get portfolio project to work? Now I know what class it's from and I know what your issue is. So in my mind I can start thinking about the problem before I even read your Kmail. So that's what you're going to do. Now another thing. Also, if the topic is new, write a new Kmail or change the subject line. And what I mean by this is sometimes I'll send like the weekly work announcement out, and then a student will reply to that and put, Mr. H, I'm having trouble with assignment 7. But they don't even change the subject line. The subject line still says week 1 work. So if the topic is new, either write a new Kmail and put the proper subject line in, or revise the subject line of an old Kmail. Don't just reply to an old one when it's covering a new topic. Within the Kmail, be specific about what you need. If you're specific, then I can probably answer you back immediately instead of us going back and forth numerous times. So for instance, if you're having trouble with, you can't get OpenOffice to work, don't just write a Kmail that says Computer Fundamentals, OpenOffice in the subject line, and then in the body of the Kmail you say, can't get OpenOffice to work, and then you send it. That tells me nothing. You would say, I've downloaded OpenOffice, I can get into it in the word processor, but I can't get into it in the spreadsheet. Can you help me? Tell me what your problem is, please. Okay, phone calls. If you need to talk on the phone, let's schedule ahead of time. Don't just call me out of the blue, because I might be busy with somebody else, working with like another student or another class connect or something like that. So schedule ahead of time. I have no problem with that. So what I usually do, a student might Kmail me, Mr. H, I'd like to talk to you this afternoon. I'll Kmail back and say, tell me a time between 1 and 2 o'clock. Then you'll come back and tell me a time, and then boom, ready to go. And then you can call my cell phone, or I can call you, either way. But let's set up phone calls ahead of time. Class Connects. I have something called ongoing Class Connect sessions, and it's under Immediate Class Connect. So what you do right over here on the left, you see this link, it says Immediate Help. When you click on that, and then you click Immediate Class Connect, that opens up a Class Connect window, and you and I can meet in there if you need individual help. Now the thing about this, those need to be set up ahead of time. So let's say we're working together one day and we need to do some special work. So we decide we're going to meet in the Immediate Class Connect at 2 o'clock on Thursday. So at 2 o'clock on Thursday, you just go right over here to Immediate Help, click on that, it'll ask for your name, and then boom, you're in it, and then I'll meet you in there. So I have those going all the time, and we can meet instantaneous meetings. But we do want to set up ahead of time or talk to me about it. Just don't go in there and expect me to meet you there. We need to set up ahead of time. Skype, you can get me right there. I try to keep it open. And then Windows Live Messenger. I think Live Messenger and Skype have merged or something, but if I can still get my live account to work, then I'll have that open when I think about it. Okay, immediate help, I talked about this. So usually we set these up ahead of time, and that way we don't have to wait for the Class Connect system to let us go in it on the hour or the half hour, which is the only time you can schedule Class Connects. So this one's live all the time. Teacher contact information, here we go. Everything there for you. And there's just the last few items here. Click here for course help. That's just something that K-12 puts out. Academic integrity, you want to make sure you read through that. So that is the gist of everything in this course to get you started for week 1. So now what we want to do, we need to go back and let's look at the Getting Started write-up. So remember the write-ups. Now we've covered all that stuff in the course, so now let's think about the write-ups. So after watching this Getting Started video, you're going to answer these questions, and here's how you do it. I tell you, right here, I tell you how to do it. So you're going to copy all of these 10 questions. So you highlight it all, right-click, copy, and then you paste it. And actually, I need to change a couple of things on this. So questions 9 and 10 are going to be changed a little bit differently because this isn't the web design class, is it? This is computer fundamentals, but these will be changed by the time you get to it. So I'll get that fixed, but for now, let's go through and find the answers to these. So how about number 1? How many points is my learning plan worth? Well, if we go right here to my learning plan, I click it, right there, 50 points. How do you submit it? You submit it as an attached file in the Dropbox. That's the learning plan. That's how you submit that. Give me the exact subject line you use in a K-mail asking to clarify assignment 3. Well, you would put this exactly. You would put Computer Fundamentals. Mr. Harrison, please clarify assignment 3. That's the exact answer for number 2. What time are the weekly live Class Connect sessions? Well, if I go right here to Class Connects, right here, Mondays, 1:30 to 2:30. How are the lesson recordings helpful for you? Well, 2 things. The lesson recordings give you points for the class, but more importantly, they also tell you what you're going to be studying for the week. So those are 2 ways the lesson recordings are helpful to you. How can you prepare yourself for quizzes and exams? Let's take a look. Let's scroll down here. I'm going to go into our first unit and check this out. When I go into our first unit, see the exam right here? Here's something called Unit Exam Preview. So that's how you can prepare for the exams. I give you the exam previews. So if I go back to that Getting Started write-up, how do you prepare for the quizzes and exams? Look at the exam preview, right? Okay, where do you see all the links to all the lesson recordings? Well, if I want to see where all the lesson recordings are, I go to Course Home, and here's a link that says Index of Lesson Recordings. They'll all be posted right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, what else on the Getting Started write-up? How can you see the feedback a teacher's giving you on an assignment? Well, in your grade book, click on the grade you earned, and the teacher's feedback will be right there. It tells you exactly what the teacher wants you to do to earn more of a grade. And speaking of which, I'll let you turn in the assignments. I'll let you fix them. Once you turn them in, I'll turn it back to you and I'll tell you what needs to be fixed. Now, if you don't fix, or if you don't even attempt to fix it, but you turn in the same work or make very little effort, then I'm going to say, sorry, that's the last time you can do it. But if you're making an effort to get it right, then I have no problems having you do it until you get 100% on it. Number 8, where can you find the work to be done each week? Well, the work to be done each week, if I hit Course Home, it's in the announcements. The work to be done each week is in the announcements. There's week 1, eventually I have week 2, week 3, week 4, etc. Okay, the other 2 questions, these are, again, I've made a mistake and copied those from the web design class, so I'm going to take those out, but I will put 2 more questions in there. So over those, they'll be easy enough for you to answer. But now we've finished. So what we've done is we've gone into Getting Started, and you watch this video. You've submitted the Getting Started write-up. You just completed that, as I gave you those answers. Now once you do those, then you have the introduce yourself discussion. I talked about that, and you have the learning plan to do. So if I go back to course home, and here's week 1, so course syllabus, getting started information we just talked about, getting started video you're watching now, complete the getting started write-up, I showed you the answers for that, discussion I talked about, my learning plan assignment talked about, and then just explore other things over here so you'll know about the course. So that's it for you. Covered everything. You should be all ready to go to get some really easy points for the first week of this course. And if I think about the assignments for this, the learning plan is worth 50 points. The getting started write-up I think is worth 20 points. There's an easy 70 points for this week. All right, thanks everybody. I appreciate you listening, and I look forward to your work coming in. Bye.